What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 3 Point Play. I am your host, Kyle Burska. Again, doing a quick solo show. Lewis is dealing with holiday stuff. I know he'd rather be here than doing what he's doing at the moment, but unfortunately, he was unable to get away. So you're stuck with me again. But just like I said last week, I'm handing out winners if you go against everything that I pick. I went 5-10 last week. Lewis went 10-5. He's been rubbing that in nonstop since the Monday night game ended. Good for him. Whatever. We're moving on to week 12. I'm going to start the show with happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope everybody's Thanksgiving is going to go well. If you're watching afterward, if before, you know, eat all the food. That's pretty much all I got for you. Eat all the food, watch all the football. I'll recap week 11 real quick. As I said, I went 5-10. Lewis went 10-5 on our locks. I went 1-2. Lewis went 2-1. Thursday night, I changed my pick so many times before I started the show. I picked the Falcons on the show. They were just a complete travesty, very embarrassing. Matt Ryan should probably retire at this point. Lewis had the Patriots. He got that one correct. Dog of 3.5 or more to win outright. We were both wrong. I had the Steelers, which would have been an all-time comeback. Just gave it up at the end. And Lewis had the Bears, hilarious. Highest scoring team, Lewis actually won. He had the scored 13 points. So good for him. I had the Cowboys who scored 9 in just a complete disaster in Kansas City. The week to week bets, Lewis had Josh Fields as the top 3 passing QB for the week. He didn't get there. He got hurt and missed most of, if not all of the second half. I had the Packers will win by 11. They lost. Was up and down game, really fun game, but Vikings scored that victory. Before we move on to week 12, eliminating teams, Dolphins in the AFC, Seahawks in the NFC. Neither team can come back and make the playoffs. Now at 3-7, they pretty much have out in order to have a chance, and I don't see that happening the way that they are currently playing. So they're out. Dolphins, obviously, they're 4-6. I think they'll probably end up getting a win this week, but you're going to have to win at least 9 games in the AFC to get there. And I'm not sure that the Dolphins can do that unless they keep playing great defense like we've seen. So on to, as Bill Belichick says, week 12, starting on Thanksgiving with we here in the Central Time get to start watching football before noon. We've got the Chicago Bears with probably Andy Dalton starting at the Detroit Lions. Bears are 3.5 favorites. Reports are that Matt Nagy's being fired after this game, so not sure if that spurs him to try and get a win or just team roll over and lose the Lions here. If you've been watching us all season, you'd think that Lewis is taking the Lions and picking him as his dog to win outright. He's not. He's picking the Bears. I can't. I don't want Andy Dalton. I mean, it's possible that the Bears just run all over the Lions, but I like the Lions in this spot. I wish, obviously, it was more points, but they play hard for Dan Campbell. And, I know it's Tim Boyle, but he got the cover last week. So I'm taking the Lions here. I think we get a big DeAndre Swift game, and the Lions just keep it close and lose on a late field goal. It's going to be an ugly game. Make sure this is the game that you're eating during, because you don't want to eat during these next 2 games, which could be a lot of fun. Next up is the Raiders at the Cowboys. Cowboys 7.5-point favorites here. No Amari Cooper, probably no CeeDee Lamb. Ezekiel Elliott got banged up on Sunday. Again, the Cowboys coming off a 9-point victory where they couldn't, or a 9-point showing where they couldn't protect Dak. Just really bad across the board. Defense played well after some early miscues, held the Chiefs to, I think, 16 points. Raiders last week, I came in, if you remember, I was high on the Raiders. I thought they'd be able to get after Joe Burrow against the Bengals, and instead they just fell apart and lost pretty handily. Lewis and I both have the Cowboys here. I don't feel great about it, but I don't know what we're getting out of the Raiders either. They were really bad last week. At the very least, you got to think that the Cowboys can make things happen with their tight ends and Tony Pollard. So Dallas defense playing well. Raiders offense hasn't shown much recently. We're both on the Cowboys here. Split on the Thanksgiving night game, though. Bills at the Saints. Bills -4.5 coming off just an absolute butt kicking at the hands of the Colts, with Jonathan Taylor just running all over them, scoring 5 touchdowns. What a day if you had him in fantasy. Lewis has the Saints. And I got to say that I do sort of understand it, but I can't go with him on that one. At some point, the Bills are going to play well again, and the Saints offense is a mess. Kamara's probably out. I think he's most likely out. Ingram may be out too. So are we just going to start Taysom Hill at running back? We already can't throw the ball. The Bills here against the banged up Saints. Bills desperately need a win. I think they're able to get it on the Thanksgiving time game. On to Sunday, Steelers at the Bengals. Bengals -4.5 here. What a line. The Steelers with just a crazy comeback with 27 points in the fourth quarter to take the lead against the Chargers, and then they gave it up late. I like the Steelers in this game. I'm going to lock the Steelers again. Oh, and also on the Lions. So I just want to start this week off with a bang. Just a huge L right off the bat. I'm also locking the Steelers here. They can do just enough offensively to keep 4.5. I really feel like this is a free at least 1.5 for the Steelers. The defense is still really good. I know they're dealing with some injuries back there. They were last week too. They kept up with the Chargers. So Bengals, good for them to get that win last week in Las Vegas. They get a win here, based on what happens on Sunday night with the Ravens and Browns. We could have a log jam there right at the top of the AFC North. So Steelers winning, getting to 6-4-1. Then you have the Bengals at 6-4. And then, the Browns will already have 6 wins. If the Ravens lose, they'll be 7-4. Let's just see chaos. I'm rooting for the Steelers. I'm going to lock the Steelers. And also they're going to be my dog of 3.5 or more to win outright. Lewis has the Bengals. I don't know. I got nothing for you on that one. I can't read his mind. Bucks at Colts. Ears here, 2.5 points. So it's a little bit of a shocking line to me. I mean, I know the Colts looked really good last week. The Bucks just crushed Jones and the Giants on Monday night. And I don't know how many more times we're going to see Daniel Jones. He's just been brutal almost since every game he's ever played in the NFL. I'm taking the Colts. I've been riding the Colts lately. They've been playing really well. They've won 4 out of 5. Defense has been the main factor here. I think we get a tight game coming in, and it's going to be a 1-score game, whether or not, that is by 3 for the Bucks or whatever. I like the Colts as the short home dog here. Lewis has the Bucks. Before playing the Giants, the Bucks had been on a pretty bad tailspin, had lost 2, sandwiched those losses around a bye. Colts are a really good team. They're positioning themselves to try and make a run playoff spot, as a lot of these teams in the AFC are. So I like the Colts. Lewis likes the Bucks. Next game is the Panthers at the Dolphins. Panthers -1.5. I was all in on the Cam Newton return last week, and then the Panthers couldn't get it done. Lewis likes Cam Newton. He's taking the Panthers here. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I feel like the Dolphins, we're starting to see the team that we thought we were going to get early in the season. We thought this would be like what the Dolphins look like coming in, playing good defense, running the ball. Good win for them last week on the road at the Jets. I know it's the Jets. I know they started Joe Flacco, but still, anytime you can go on the road, get a division win, it's pretty big. The Panthers, it certainly wasn't Cam's fault they lost. Taylor Heineke just threw all over them, which was a strange thing to see. But for whatever reason, the Panthers just couldn't get enough offense. They tied it up in the fourth quarter and then gave up 10 straight to lose. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, or I'm sorry, the Washington kicked 2 field goals in the fourth to win. Excuse me. I like the Dolphins defense here to hold back what is, I'm still going to say, is a limited Cam Newton. I know he played pretty well last week, but this is a completely different defense than they went up against last week. Next up is the Titans at the Patriots. Lou and I agree here. We both have the Titans. Lewis is locking the Titans. It's just too many points for the number 1 seed in the AFC. I know shout out to the Patriots last Thursday for just blanking the Falcons 25-0. Just think it's too many points. I think we got a close game here. The Titans, got to bounce back. They've lost 3 games all year, and 2 of them have been to the Jets and the Texans. But I like the Titans here. I think they'll be better. They just cut Adrian Peterson, which I don't think actually helps them, doesn't hurt them either. But I'm not going to throw 4 interceptions again. The Patriots have been playing so well. What have they, 4 or is it 5 in a row now? And they didn't have to do much last week. The Falcons just kind of let them have it. They have won 5. So I've really been on to the Patriots, but I think this is just too many points, and the Titans get back to at least being competitive here. So yeah, both. Next up, Eagles at the Giants. Lewis likes the Giants getting 3.5. I like the giving 3.5. The Eagles have been running the hell out of the ball. The Giants are a complete mess. They just fired Jason Garrett, which is probably addition by subtraction, except when you learn that they're going to give play calling duties to Freddie Kitchens, which is something no team should ever do. The Eagles offense has been playing so well for the last 3 or 4 weeks, running the ball like crazy. Jalen Hurts with 3 rushing touchdowns last week. Miles Sanders back. The Giants offense, it's just a mess. What is Daniel Jones doing on any given play? Can't be trusted. I don't like him. Lewis likes him. Good for him. Split on that one. Next up, Falcons at the Jaguars. Falcons 1.5 point favorites. I really liked the Jags last week. They've been playing hard for Urban Meyer. They were getting 5.5 at home. A team that looked great on Monday night was coming in. Every sort of gambling rule for that game was thrown out the window. Very strange to me. Niners waxed the Jags. Falcons, though, just didn't even score any points. At least the Jags put up a few in that game. But I don't know what to do with the Jags anymore. I don't like this Falcons team. They were, again, just putrid last week. They've been putrid largely year, but at some point they're going to play better. Hopefully they get Cordero Patterson back, which are words I never thought I'd say, and they play better and take care of business in Jacksonville. Lewis also with the Falcons. Next up, Jets at the Texans. The less said about this game, the better. I've got the Texans. Lewis has the Jets quarterback right now. Who knows? Probably Zach Wilson. Joe Flacco is apparently unvaccinated. He's on the COVID list. He took Mike White Lotus with him. So I don't want Zach Wilson. I'll take Tyrod Taylor to win this game for the Texans. Lewis has the Jets. Moving to Sunday afternoon, Chargers at the Broncos. Chargers 2.5 point favorites here. Lewis and I both have the Broncos. I think this is just a bet on the defense, and they're going to run the ball all over the Chargers. Chargers lucky to escape with the win. They tried to melt down so badly on Sunday night. 27 points in the fourth quarter to the Steelers. I'm trying to think of the stat. The Chargers, we know, have a lot of problems giving up leads late. They'd lost double-digit games when leading in the fourth quarter by 14 points over the last decade, which is just incredible and, deserves to be commended, that type of futility. So Lewis and I are both on the Broncos here with a good defense playing against the Chargers, who, again, they did put up last week and maybe offensively, but short home dog in a division game. Lewis and I both taking the Broncos and the lesser of the picked teams in this matchup. Rams at Packers, game of the week, probably right here. Rams getting 1.5 in Green Bay. Rams coming off of a bye. Green Bay coming off of a hard-fought loss, 3-point loss to the Vikings, in which they just could not cover Justin Jefferson. Few teams can, if we're being honest, but tough one here. Lewis loves the Rams, locking the Rams. Good for probably thinking that gets back on track after a tough. I'm trying to think what happened in week 10. They didn't play well, if I remember. Yeah, they got beat 31-10 on Monday night. So long layoff, bounce back, get Odell ingratiated into the team, probably play a little better. That's where I'm at on that. I think Lewis would probably say much of the same. So we're both on the Rams. Lewis locking the Rams. Next up, Vikings, Niners. Do you believe in either of these teams? Whichever team you believe in here is the team you're taking. I'm taking the Niners, giving 2.5. Lewis is locking the Vikings. No, he's not. He is taking the Vikings. He's not locking the Vikings. Niners really pushing hard to get into the playoff mix. Fans crush the Jags, now facing a very beatable Vikings team. This is going to be a contrast of styles, but I just can't personally pick Kirk Cousins in a big game. Vikings really need to win this game. He lets them down, taking the Niners. Lewis backing all of the questionable quarterbacks this week. Gotta love that. He is the Vikings. I'm taking the Niners. Sunday night, Browns at Ravens. Ravens half-point favorites coming off the bye here. Browns coming off a brutal loss. A brutal win over the Lions. They won 13-10. Couldn't get much offense going in that game. Chubb, I think, had more than 100 yards rush. Yeah, he had 130, and he also had a touchdown through the air. But Baker threw 2 picks. Tim Boyle was brutal in that game. He's been brutal pretty much his entire football career. If you go look at his college stats, completely abysmal. How is he in the league? Nobody knows. I'm taking the Browns. Just sort of most of the time, if an underdog in an interdivisional game is more than 3 points, I kind of just side with them. The Browns defense can still play tough. The Ravens offense has been a mess. If you're able to slow down Lamar at all, the Ravens really struggle to move the football. I mean, the last time we saw them, they were getting beat 22-10 in Miami. I'm sorry, that's correct. 22-10 they just beat the Bears. I'm sorry, guys. They just beat the Bears 16-13. But again, that's another point on them struggling offensively. The last 2 weeks, having just scored 38 points total against the Dolphins and the Bears, 2 of the bottom feeders in the league. In the 2 weeks before that, they only put up 17 on the Bengals. So it's 3 of the last 4 games have been struggles offensively. I think we see another one here against the Browns. I like the Browns getting 4.5. Lewis has the Ravens, which I get it, but it seems like the sucker pick on this one to me. It seems like this is a classic one where Vegas is just asking you to take the Ravens, getting less than a touchdown because everybody's pouring it on the Browns right now. Maybe I'm overthinking, also a possibility, but that's where we are. I've got the Browns. Lewis has the Ravens. Also, I'm locking the Texans. I didn't mention this earlier against the Jets. I don't want to pick the Jets. Give me the Texans and Tyrod Taylor to play well again, as he did last week. Finally, Monday night, Seattle Seahawks at the Washington Professional Football Team. Washington 1.5-point favorites. Lewis locking Washington. This is a completely anti-Seattle pick. I get it. Seattle's looked just brutal the last 2 weeks with Russell Wilson back. Last week, just couldn't even get into the end zone, or that was 2 weeks ago, 17-0 against the Packers. Last week wasn't pretty either for Seattle, losing 23-13 at home to Colt McCoy. Heineke seems to be cutting it loose. The Washington's won two straight. They beat the Bucks, and then they won last week as well against the Panthers. What is Seattle at this point? Russell Wilson's been pretty brutal since back. They haven't run the ball. Got a lot of injuries. The defense hasn't played well. So I like Washington as well. Lewis locking Washington. So that wraps up week 12 here on 3-point play. I'll go over our locks again. Lewis has the Titans, Rams, and Washington. I have the Lions, Steelers, Texans. Our Thursday picks, I've got Lions, Cowboys, Bills. Lewis has Bears, Cowboys, Saints. Dog of 3.5 or more to win outright. Lewis has the Giants. Tough. I've got the Steelers, highest scoring team. Lewis has the Rams. I'm taking the Eagles to just on the Giants on the ground again. And our week-to-week bets, Lewis has Tom Brady with 4 passing touchdowns. And I've got Browns, Ravens hits the under, which is, as of this recording, 46 points. So that's week 12, everybody. Hopefully Lewis is able to get back next week. I'm hoping, because I know that nobody wants to just sit here and look at my face and listen to my voice. They want the friendly banter that Lewis, at least absorbs from me. I don't think he really has good banter, but I'm only saying that because he's not here. So you want to get a hold of us, 3pointplaypodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook. Please like, share, and subscribe. Lewis is at TPP Sweet Lou on Twitter. I am at KVerska7. So everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Best of luck to you out there. Just go against me. You'll probably win money. Thanks for watching, everyone.